Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to B-Man is Mad. I believe this is my third You Have an F5 by B-Man is Mad. Now, I don't like to do one every week. I don't want it to make it too recycled. I don't want it to be one every week where you get annoyed with it. So there's special ones, and today needs no introduction. This past Saturday, Duke men's basketball program lost 3 in a row. They're not having a good year. It's one of the worst years that Mike Krzyzewski has had since he's been there in a long time. The longest time I remembered where they're not in the top 25. I think it's been over 12 years since they have not been in the top 25. I could be mistaken. But after their third straight loss, Mike Krzyzewski, of course, Duke's head basketball coach, got a little annoyed, got a little irritated with the student reporter, and I will play for that, guys, for you. Let me know what you think. Do you think he was over the top here? Or do you think he was just frustrated because they lost 3 straight? Or are you thinking what I'm thinking, and I will get into that once I play this to you guys. And here that is. This is after Duke's third straight loss to Louisville, and Duke was currently 5-5 at the time. And Mike Krzyzewski was a little annoyed with the question that he was received from the student reporter.
Jake Piazza with the Chronicle. Go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I'm just curious as to what the next step forward here is for the team as you guys move into another week of basketball.
Yeah, why don't we just evaluate this game? I'm not into what our next step forward is right now. We just finished a hard-fought game. I don't know if, like, what's your major? What's your major at Duke? What's your hardest class?
Econ.
Okay. So say you just had the toughest econ test in the world, and when you walked out, somebody asked you, what's your next step? You see what I mean? You have some empathy and just give us time to evaluate this game, and then we'll figure out, just like we always try to do, what the next step will be. The next step, obviously, is to prepare for Georgia Tech. How we prepare for them, that's what we're going to have to figure out.
So what do you guys think about that? Now, I thought he was really shitty to that kid. Of course, he later on, he apologized to save his ego. Look, I get it. He's frustrated. He's lost 3 straight. Duke's not winning. It's a lot different when you're not winning, when you're not in the top 25. It's been a terrible year and a half with COVID-19 and all that crap. But you know what, Mike? I'm sorry, Coach. I have a major issue with this, and 2 parts that really pissed me off when he said that. And by the way, that came from another YouTuber clip. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I'm not making any money off this, so I think I should be okay. Hopefully I don't get one of those red flags on YouTube that I copied off of someone else's channel. But then again, I'm not being monetized on this, and I'm not making any money. I will put this video that I just played for you guys on the description below. I'll put that link so you can actually watch the full video. You can actually see the press conference. But let me dive into it, the problem that I had with this. How are we supposed to have empathy for you, Coach, when you're making millions of dollars, and we're supposed to have empathy for you? That student is supposed to have empathy for you. Now, I thought it was in poor taste for him to say, well, that little voice that he has, and his little nasally voice that he has, where it sounds like he's sitting there and he's drinking hot cocoa. For some reason, when I hear his voice over the radio, or I don't see his face on a TV, I'm only hearing it through my car or my stereo, it just sounds like he's sitting there drinking hot cocoa. And I don't know, I know that's weird, but the analogy that he used for that kid, well, if you, and I know my impersonation's terrible, folks, forgive me. If you took an econ test, and I don't even know if I pronounced that word right, but how would you like it if you failed it and someone said, what's your next step? Well, first of all, Coach, that student isn't making millions of dollars. That student wouldn't be able to drop out of college and live off of his wealth the rest of his life. That student's life would be altered depending on what he did after that econ test, not like you. Okay, if Duke decided to fire you over the way you treated this young kid, this young reporter, you would be fine because you're Mike Krzyzewski. And for you to talk down to that kid like that, and for you to just condescending, that's what it was. And the word empathy. Really, coach? Really? You want to talk that way to a kid because you are Mike Krzyzewski? Now here, folks, here is the problem. This is the problem that we have with sports figures, actors, celebrities, even politicians, and most importantly, coaches. Just because someone is great at what they do, just because someone is a fantastic ball player, or they are a fantastic actor, or they are a fantastic coach, doesn't necessarily mean they are going to be a friendly person, doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to be always a great person. There's a lot of shitty people out there who are great at what they do. With celebrities, with sports figures, and just because Mike Krzyzewski is a great basketball coach, just because he's done so many great things with Team USA and all these other players that he's developed and the great recruiter he is, doesn't necessarily mean he's the number one person in the world and has the greatest personality. And of course, he gets a pass with this, and a lot of people don't think it's a big deal. I do. I think it was kind of a jackass thing to do, the way you acted, how condescending you were. And I think he gets a pass because he's Mike Krzyzewski and he's won national championships and he is a celebrity. And that's not the case with me. That kid was just doing what he felt was right. I don't know if he wrote that question himself. I believe it was a great question. If it was scripted, someone wrote it down for him to help him out because he sounded like he was a little nervous. He actually did a better job than I would asking the great Mike Krzyzewski. But he deserved an answer. And that answer that the way Coach tried to dismiss it was too condescending and too much of an a-hole. And I had a problem with that. I don't know Mike Krzyzewski. I know of him. Of course, he's a celebrity, so I'll never meet him. But things I've read, stories I've read, articles I've read, and sound bites I've heard over the years, he kind of comes off as an arrogant jerk. And that little clip there I just played you proves it. I mean, he really comes off as an arrogant jerk. Could you imagine if Brian Kelly acted that way towards a reporter after a Notre Dame game? Let's say Notre Dame lost a very close game. They had lost 3 in a row, and they were terrible, and he exploded, which he's done before, and he's gotten lambasted. Absolutely, he would not get a pass like Mike Krzyzewski does. Yes, because we judge by the level of success here, but it's because of Mike Krzyzewski, because he is the great one. He's a genius, and he is the Jesus of college basketball. And Brian Kelly, you're just a little peon at Notre Dame. No one cares about you. Believe me, folks, that's exactly what would happen. Brian Kelly would be thrown over the coals if he treated a young reporter that way. And of course, Mike Krzyzewski gets a pass because he is a great basketball coach. He is a great talent of recruiting young men, responsible young men who go to Duke and play basketball and have a potential to go to the NBA. And for him to ask that kid that question in the analogy and try to compare his profession to what that kid's major is at Duke, that was kind of shitty, Coach. And that's why that you are the third official. You have been F5 by B-Man is mad. Everyone, please like this podcast. And if you want to subscribe, do that as well. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was an overreaction by me and some other people? Or do you think that you agree with me what I had to say? It was very condescending. He came off of a jerk. And we need to stop holding celebrities and sports athletes and coaches to a higher degree because they just win ball games and they're great actors and they do great things that we can't do. And I disagree with that. But again, everyone, take care, stay safe. And of course, I will put this link on the description below so you can actually see the video of this and watch it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Take care, everybody.